And you'll see some startling numbers here. Now, this is what our fiscal future looks like based upon GAO's latest long-range budget simulation. Actually, they just issued one yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to put up the new graphic, but I can tell you it doesn't look any better. And so basically it's about the same. The bars represent spending as a percentage of the economy, so inflation is taken out. The line represents revenues at historical levels of taxation, which is about 18.3% of the economy at the federal level. And so basically what this says is, if we don't reform Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, if all of the discretionary spending, national defense, homeland security, judicial system, foreign policy, transportation, education to the extent it's at the federal level, all those things, if they grow by the rate of the economy, therefore they don't get to be a bigger piece of the pie, but they're not smaller, and if we just tax at historical levels, 18.3% of the economy, and we charge the national credit card for the difference, and interest rates don't go up, all right? And interest rates don't go up. If you assume that all of those things happen, which is basically a status quo do-nothing policy, which Washington's pretty good at, a do-nothing policy, you will see what our fiscal future looks like. That's obviously not an acceptable or sustainable scenario. Basically what it would mean is that if we wanted to balance the budget in 2040, you would have to double federal taxes. Double federal taxes. And the biggest expense in the federal budget within about 20 years is interest on the federal debt. And what is that? Paying for past sins. You get nothing for interest on the debt. Now, that's the scenario that we have right now. That's the path that we're on. But quite frankly, it assumes that interest rates won't go up, and that's not a realistic assumption. Now, here is the PAC person, PAC man, PAC woman, call it whatever you want. I'm dating myself. Of the federal budget, of the state budget, and our biggest competitiveness challenge, and it's health care. This is what the Medicare trustees expect that cost per person for health care will be, and the Census Bureau and CBO, based upon the latest simulations, the cost per person, from about $7,500 today, and you can see where it goes. And by the way, this is adjusted for inflation. So these are in 2008 dollars. Now, why is that? Because over the last 40 years, health care costs have grown 2.4% faster than the economy on average, and because of the so-called miracle of compounding. You have to keep in mind what Albert Einstein said. He was a pretty smart guy. He said that the most powerful force on earth is not nuclear energy. The most powerful force on earth is the miracle of compounding. And when you're an investor, or when you end up making tough choices, that power of compounding works for you. But when you're a debtor, or when you fail to make tough choices, that power of compounding works against you. And so it is true when the Obama administration and others say that the single large threat to our fiscal future is health care. And it's true when I say if there's one thing that could bankrupt the United States, it's out-of-control health care costs. Those are both true statements. At the same point in time, it's also true to say you can't reduce cost by expanding coverage. That is an oxymoron. And you will hear a little bit more about that in a few minutes.